What's up, guys? It's Jordan from Fighting for My Voice. I hope everyone's having a great day. Welcome back to this week's video. In this week's video, we are going to be discussing about what apraxia of speech affects beyond the intelligibility label. So before we get into this video, be sure you click that little subscribe button down below. Be sure that you give this video a thumbs up, and you can comment down below your name, where you are from. I love getting to know you guys, but without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, apraxia affects a lot more than just the intelligibility portion, but this is something that kind of fails to be recognized because there's not many people with lived experiences of apraxia. Apraxia wasn't recognized by ASHA until 2007, so prior to ASHA recognizing this diagnosis, it's always been a real diagnosis. Apraxia is not new. It's been here, just something that was not recognized. So we're going to be getting into what does apraxia of speech also affect. So the number one thing, the very first thing I'm going to get into is social relationships. My social relationships have been affected since I was a child. As a young child, other people couldn't understand me when I would try to speak. So a lot of people would give me mixed facial reactions or either really just walk away from me growing up. There were people that took the time to listen to me, but many of these people were adults. Adults knew how to act. Adults had the patience. Versus other children, they didn't take that time. So actually what I've seen this represent itself, how I've seen it represent itself in my adult life, is I could be more likely to make friends with people that are older than me. And actually, I don't make friends with people my age. Personally, I'm 26 years old. My youngest friend is probably 29. My oldest friend, I would say, is around 38 or so. So I tend to make friends with people who are older than me personally. How I've seen it represent in my adult life is just like this, but also I can at times, I'm going to be honest in this video, sometimes I can be avoidant of making new friendships when it comes to a relationship. I can be avoidant at times. I'm not going to lie. And I've had to work on this as I became an adult and work on not being avoidant. Just because my speech can come off more clearly now doesn't mean in my everyday life it represents this way. Back and forth conversations with me are more difficult. And because of that reason, I can be more likely to avoid those situations. But now in my adult life, I'm working on not avoiding those things and working on accepting myself fully for who I am in each and every moment. 2, it can affect school. I definitely saw mine affect school as a young child when it came to trying to basically ask a question about my work. I wasn't able to as a child. I couldn't speak until I was 5, talking words at 8, and sentences at age 12. I couldn't ask questions about the coursework. So if I couldn't ask questions, I would sit there not being able to know what I'm doing. And a lot of people mistook this as me just not wanting to do my work when it was completely not that. It was that I didn't know how to do my work but couldn't ask any follow-up questions. Also, as well, when I was in school, it affected my reading, writing, and spelling. So I wasn't able to read until I was in 3rd grade. My third book, The Boy Who Spoke Even When His Voice Shook, out of my book series, Jordan's World, is about the first time I learned how to read and how proud I was of myself for learning how to read. Actually, what's funny is that I bowed in front of the class because I was so happy to be able to read, but I didn't know how to read. So it definitely affected me in that way growing up. Now in my adult life, when I went to college, it definitely affected my college, but I got in a 504 plan and I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology and a minor in general biology. And I loved college. I definitely want to go back one day. I'm just trying to decide what for. But I loved college. Number 3, it can definitely affect your relationships with your family. I know this might be like a touchy subject for some, but it definitely affected my relationships with my family, and it's affected my relationship with some family members. Now, I won't get into, who those family members are. The point of my page is to never point out people or to call out people's names or anything like that, but to tell my real life experiences to help other people. I definitely did see there growing up where some family members would label me as shy, as lazy, as avoidant, just not wanting to speak, when it was never that way, but the way that some people treated me growing up made me not want to speak to them because they weren't accepting, they weren't kind to me. Versus when I became an adult, these people said, some of these people suddenly wanted to come back and wanted to speak to me. And I simply didn't want to speak to them in that moment, because if you didn't take the time for me as a child, it doesn't mean that I owe you that time now. Definitely as an adult, I see it affected. I'm not going to dive into it much more just because I want to be courteous to keep some things private to myself, but I definitely have seen it affected. 4, it definitely affects beyond the intelligibility label. It can also affect numerous aspects of your speech. So some of these things that I'm going to lay out in point 4 are definitely voice volume. So how loud you speak, how quiet you speak, being able to regulate your voice volume. And also as well with being able to say the word you want to say. Now, what I mean by this is not a word not coming out how you intended it to sound. For people with apraxia, at times, a different word, a completely different word than what we meant to say can come out. So like if I mean to say the word Monday, Friday can come out. Now, I didn't mean for Friday to come out. Actually, that was a mistake if this happens within my everyday to-day life. But what actually happens is that my brain can go to the word that will come out first. So my brain tries to make my speech as more easier as it possibly can, because my brain gets tired. But as my brain gets more and more tired from me speaking in my everyday to-day life, from really putting in that concentration and such, different words can come out that are not the word that I mean whatsoever. This can actually take quite a toll on me with my mental health. It can make me feel like I'm quote unquote stupid. I don't use that word lightly, and I don't like that I have that automatic thought, but I have to be transparent on this video and say, that's the first thought that pops into my head. What I have to do within those moments is that I have to take a pause. I say, stop. You're not stupid. This is what your apraxia did for you because your brain is trying to help. However, calling yourself this is not going to help. Actually, it's going to make me stress. It's going to make things a lot more difficult. This is your apraxia. And I remind myself, what having apraxia, what does it actually mean? It means I have a little bit more difficulties with speech. It means that I had to go to 10 plus years of speech therapy to be able to speak how I am today. But it also means that I was hardworking, I was determined, and I was brave enough to sit through all of those speech sessions to work for my voice the way that I have now. And it means that I should be proud of myself, because I was once a child who I literally could not speak until I was 5. I couldn't utter a sound, versus to where I'm at now. So I have to also keep in mind how far that I came and how far I'm coming each and every day of my life. If you guys liked this video, be sure you give it a thumbs up. Once again, be sure you click that subscribe button. If you guys would like me to touch on any other sort of topics, comment down below. I love taking video ideas. I love talking to you guys. Be sure you follow me on my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter. Also down below is going to be my merch, where you can purchase merchandise. I have cups, I have tote bags, I have t-shirts. There's all sorts of stuff because I love just coming out with fun apraxia stuff. I think it can be so much fun to spread the word about apraxia awareness. And I will talk to you guys soon. Please keep happy, healthy, and safe. Bye.